Hillary Clinton ran the DNC when they were supposed to be conducting a fair and impartial primary.
Hey, okay.
Oh, that lawsuit sounds crazy now,
Yeah, I got
doesn't
some
it?
big old titties.
I'm sure the Washington Post will run another stupid
On
article
my
saying how
shirt here.
stupid that lawsuit was. Instead of writing
Get
an
the
article
Jimmy
about
Dore
how
show
outrageous it is, how
playing in the
rigged our
back there.
fucking political system is and our political races. Instead of doing that, Jeff Bezos hires hacks who do whatever they're told to do to write bullshit articles that demean people who are trying to have a free and fair election. I think they need to write another article about how important all across the board Facebook ads were. That's what 100% of people saw. Yeah. They need more of that. And let's remember, half those Facebook ads didn't go up until after the election, and half of those were in solidly red states. The DNC also was required to consult with the Hillary Clinton campaign about all other staffing, budgeting, data, analytics, and mailings. This is corruption. Is there anything Hillary Clinton does that's not 100% corrupt? Is there? The Victory Fund agreement, however, had been signed in August 2015. Just 4 months after Hillary announced her candidacy.
Oh, I got a like on the stream. Reading out loud. Alright, so we're on Act 3, Scene 2. Hamlet has put on the play The Mousetrap in front of Claudius and his mom Gertrude. And it looks like it's an intermission thing. And Hamlet is speaking with Ophelia. Let's see. Right, so the player king and the player queen just had their exchange where the queen says, "I love you forever." The king says, "Well, someday I'll die, and when that happens, your vow will last." And she says, "No, I'll never take another husband, blah, blah, blah." And so the player king says, Tis deeply sworn, sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep." The player king sleeps. Player queen. "Sleep, rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain." Exit player queen. "Madame, how you like this play? The lady protests too much, methinks." "Oh, but she'll keep her word." Have you heard the argument? Is there no offence in't?" No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offence in the world." "What do you call the play?" "The Mousetrap." "Marry, how?" "Tropically. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the duke's name, his wife Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the galled jade wince, our withers are unwrung. Let the galled jade wince, our withers are unwrung. Let the galled jade wince, our withers are unwrung. Huh. Enter Lucianus. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king. Oh, okay, so this is an actor that's playing the nephew of the king, so pretty much the same position as Hamlet here. Ophelia. You are as good as a chorus, my lord. I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets, darling. You are keen, my lord, you are keen. It would cost you a groaning to take off mine edge. Still better and worse. So you must take your husbands. Begin, murderer. Pox, leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge. So you must take your husbands. Begin, murderer. Begin, murderer. Pox, leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge. Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's band thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property unwholesome live usurp immediately. Pours poison to player king's ear. What? Wait a second, Lucianus? Lucianus is poisoning the player king? So the equivalent of Hamlet is poisoning King Hamlet? He poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story is extant and writ in choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife. Claudius stands up. The king rises. What? Frighted with false fire? How fares my lord? Give o'er the play. Give me some light away. Lights, lights, lights. Why let the stricken deer go weep, the heart ungulled play. For some must watch, while some must sleep, so runs the world away. Would not discern the forest of feathers if the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me? With true provincial roses on my raised shoes, get me a fellowship in cry players. Would not this, sir, the forest of feathers? Would not this, sir, and the forest of feathers with two provincial roses on my graded shoes give me a fellowship to? Half a share. Hold for me. Hold share. For thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here, very, very Jove. You might have rhymed. Oh, good, Horatio, I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000. Didst perceive? Very well, my lord. Upon the talk of the poisoning, I did very well note him. Aha, come, some music, come, the recorders. For if the king like not the comedy, why then be like he likes it not, Bertie. For if the king like not the comedy, why then be like we likes it not, Bertie. Come, some music. We already did this. Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Good, my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you. Sir, a whole history. The king, sir. Aye, sir, what of him? Is in his retirement marvellous distemper. With drink, sir? No, my lord, with colour. Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor, for me to put him in his purgation would perhaps plunge him into far more colour. Good, my lord, put your discourse into some frame, and start not so wildly from my affair. I am tame, sir, pronounce. The queen your mother is in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you. You are welcome. Nay, good lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business. Sir, I cannot. What, my lord? Make you a wholesome answer? My wit's diseased. But, sir, such answers as I can make you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more, but to the matter. My mother, you say. Then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration. O wonderful son that can so stoneth a mother! But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration and pardon? O wonderful son that can so astonish a mother! But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration? Impart. She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed. We shall obey, were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us? My lord, you once did love me, and do still, by these pickers and stealers. Good, my lord. What is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friends. You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty. You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friends. Sir, I lack advancement. How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark? Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Now the recorders, let me see one. To withdraw with you, why do you go about to recover the wind of me if you would drive me into a toil? I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe? My lord, I cannot. I pray, believe me, I cannot. I do beseech you. I know not touchable, my lord. It is as easy as lying. Govern these vengeances with your fingers and thumbs. Give it breath with your mouth, and you will discourse some eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops. But these cannot I command to my utterance of harmony, and I have not the skill. Why, look you now, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass, and there is much music, excellent voice, and this little organ. You cannot make it speak, yet you cannot make it speak. Splud, do you think I am easy to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, yet you cannot play upon me. God bless you, sir. My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently. Do you see yonder cloud that's almost in the shape of a camel? Aye, by the mass, it is like a camel indeed. Methinks it is like a weasel. It is backed like a weasel, or like a whale, buried like a whale. Then I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bed. I will come by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will say so. By and by is easily said. I will come by and by. By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. 'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Oh wow, that's a nice line right there. And this lighting kind of sucks, huh? What's that? A little bit better. 'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to the world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the bitter day would quake to look on. Soft, now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature, let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Well, that's pretty inconsistent. So the first three lines he says, Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the bitter day would quake to look on. Now I'm capable of all these horrible things. Oh, but let me not lose control and do horrible things. No heart, lose not thy nature, let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words some ever she be shent to give them seals, never my soul consent. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words some ever she be shent. The fuck is shent? My words some ever she be shent. To give them seals, never my soul consent. To give them seals, never my soul consent. Yeah, it's kind of a theme here for Hamlet. Saying one thing but not really feeling what you're saying, not saying what you're meaning or meaning what you're saying. So I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. I will speak daggers to her, yet use none. I'll speak horribly to her, speak murderously to her, but I won't murder her. So in this, my tongue and soul will be hypocrites. They don't agree. Does he really want to kill his mom, but he doesn't want to? Or he really wants to kill his mom, but he won't let himself do it? Is it because the ghost told him not to do it? Or he doesn't want to kill his mom, but he wants his mom to believe that he wants to kill his mom. Like, so which one is the lie and which one is the truth? That he wants to kill his mom? He wants to, but he won't? Or he doesn't want to, but he's going to act like he does? God, Hamlet's that pissed at his mom that he would kill her, huh? Let's keep going. All right, this is the beginning of Act 3, Scene 3. Claudius. I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazard so dangerous as doth hourly grow out of his lunacies. That's a nice line. That's nice. We will ourselves provide, most holy and religious sphere it is, to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty. Aye, the single and peculiar life is bound with all the strange and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance. Says, the single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, but much more that spirit upon whose wheel depend the rest the lives of many. The cease of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth draw what's near it with it. It is a mossy wheel, fixed on the summit of the highest mountain, whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are more decides and join, which when it falls, each small and excellent petty consequence attends the boisterous ruin. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan. That's a great one. Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put upon the sphere which now goes too free-footed. We will haste us. My lord, he's going to his mother's closet behind the arras. I'll convey myself to hear the process. I'll warn she'll tax him home, and as you said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should o'erhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know. Thanks, my dear. Thanks, my dear lord. Exit Polonius. Oh, my offence is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon't, a brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, or I shall first begin and both neglect. Yeah. Pray can I not, though inclination be as strong as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, where I shall first begin. I stand in pause, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, where I shall first begin and both neglect. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound. And like a man to double business bound, I shall stand. I stand in pause. I stand in pause. And like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, where I shall first begin and both neglect. And like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, where I shall first begin and both neglect. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. And like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offence? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardon being down? Then I'll look up, my fault is past, but oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me for my foul murder? That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, my own ambition, and my queen, may one be pardoned and retain the offence? In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice. Wow. Offence's gilded hand. Gild. To say that something is gilded means it's clad in gold. It's made with gold. So offense, breaking the rules or doing something horrible, right? Malice. You could say malice's gilded hand doth. What does it say? Offense's gilded hand may shove by justice. That if you're evil, but if you have money, you can buy your way out of it. And oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. And oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet, what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state! Oh, bosom black as death! O limed soul that's struggling to be free, art more engaged. Help, angels, make essay, bow stubborn knees and heart with strings of steel. Be soft as sinews of the newborn babe, all may be well, kneels. Enter Hamlet. Now might I do it, Pat, now he is praying. Now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do the same villain and send to heaven. Oh, this is higher in salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown as flush as May. And now his audit stands, who knows, save heaven. But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword, and no, thou a more horrid hint, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at a game of swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in't, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays, this physic but prolongs thy sickly days. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days. This physique but prolongs thy sickly days. Hamlet walks away. Claudius stands up and he says, my words fly up, my words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. Okay, Act 3, Scene 4. So Hamlet just spared Claudius. He's going to go meet his mother. So Hamlet and Gertrude are going to finally showdown. Okay, so first, enter Gertrude and Polonius. Polonius. He will come straight. Look, you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me even here. Pray you, be round with him. Mother, mother, mother. I'll warrant you, fear me not. I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming. Polonius hides behind the curtains. Enter Hamlet. Now, mother, what's the matter? Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended. Mother, you have my father much offended. Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue. Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue. Why, how now, Hamlet? What's the matter now? Have you forgot me? No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and, were it not so, you are my mother. Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak. Come, come, and sit you down, you shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass, where you may see the inmost part of you. You shall not budge, you go not till I set up a glass, where you may see the inmost part of you. That's Shakespeare's power, isn't it? Understand somebody so clearly that he can, as it were, put a mirror in front of them and show them what they are. I guess that's what's so, one of the things that's so intoxicating with Shakespeare, is that when we grow older, everybody has that moment where they think they understand life to a point where they can understand other people's emotions, to a point where it's boring. And part of the fun of interacting with an idiot or somebody that is unwise or inexperienced is that as the experienced person, you can deconstruct them. They are behaving, they have intentions, motivations, and explicit reasons as to why they're doing things. But you, being wise, you know of all these subtle things of which they won't admit that are actually going on. And so, being a jerk, you decide that it's worth time to waste to take somebody like that, the idiot that's being innocent but a fool, and you decide to show him his own foolishness for whatever reason. And I think Shakespeare's really fucking pissed at a lot of things in life, and he's using this play as a way to point it out. When Hamlet was upset with Guildenstern or Rosencrantz or whoever the fuck, he has that line. Why, look you now, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me? You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak. Splud! Do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, yet you cannot play upon me. Though you can fret me, you would seem to know my stops. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would seem to know my stops. And that, in this explosion, comes subsequently after he uses those same words to describe how to play a flute. Look, it has its stops and it has its things. So if you understand it, you can not only understand it clearly, but you can manipulate it. So Hamlet's insulted. Wow, you think you know me? And that you can manipulate me? Wow. Splud, do you think I'm easy to play on that pipe? You son of a bitch. Though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me, motherfucker. That's pretty badass. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up glass where you may see the inmost part of you. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. So when he says daggers, I guess he's really meaning, real cutthroat stuff. What wilt that do? Thou wilt not murder me? Help, help, ho! From behind the rocks. What, ho? Help, help, help! How now, a rat, dead for a ducat, dead. Stabs a sword through the arras and kills Polonius from behind the arras. Oh, I am slain. Oh me, what hast thou done? Nay, I know not. Is it the king? Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this. A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother. There you go. That's Hamlet accusing his mom. Hamlet accuses his mom. You killed the king. As kill a king? Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Draws back their house and discovers Polonius. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy to is some danger. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. The fuck does that mean? You've gone what you deserve. I guess you found out it's dangerous to be a busybody. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. The fuck does that mean? I guess you found out it's dangerous to be a busybody. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. That seems. Thou find'st to be too dangerous is to be busy. That would make more sense. It's really dangerous to be busy, if that's what the translation is. Leave ringing in your hands. Peace. Sit you down and let me wring your heart. For so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom have not brassed it so that it is proven bulwark against sense. Dude, if your evil lifestyle's not toughened it against feeling anything at all. Leave ringing in your hands. Peace. Sit you down and let me wring your heart. For so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom hath not brassed it so that it is proof and bulwark against sense. What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me? Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dice's oaths. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face, doth glow o'er this solidity and compound mass with tristful visage as against the doom, is thought sick at the act. Jeez. A deed that destroys modesty, turns virtue into hypocrisy, replaces the bosom on the face of true love with a nasty blemish. The blossom. Jeez, that fucked me up. Replaces the blossom on the face of true love with a nasty blemish. So there's a face with true love and it has a blossom in it. And you're taking that blossom and replacing it with a nasty blemish. Makes marriage vows as false as gambler's oath. Oh, you've done a deed that plucks the soul out of marriage. You've done a deed that plucks the soul out of marriage and turns religion into meaningless blather. Heaven looks down on this earth as angry. Heaven looks down on this earth. Heaven looks down on this earth as angry as if Judgment Day were here and is sick at the thought of what you've done. Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicers' oaths. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, in sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. A rhapsody? Rhapsody? Such a blister making. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction. Body of contraction. Plucks the soul out of marriage. So contraction means marriage. Such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul. And sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face doth glow o'er this solidity. Heaven's face doth glow o'er this solidity and compound mass with tristful visage as against the doom is thought sick at the act. Heaven's face doth glow over this solidity. Heaven looks down on earth as angry as if Judgment Day were here. And compound mass with tristful visage as against the doom. As against the doom. Heaven's face doth glow over this solidity. Heaven's face doth glow o'er this solidity and compound mass with tristful visage. Whoa, yeah, no, that's a tough 4 lines. Heaven's face doth glow. Glow is usually a positive thing. When you're saying someone's glowing, heaven's face doth glow over this solidity in compound mass. Doth glow over this solidity in compound mass with tristful visage. Okay, so compound mass. So is heaven's face doth glow over this solidity in compound mass. I don't know if that's and compound mass. Solidity and compound mass. So those are 2 different nouns describing that thing which heaven's face glows over. Heaven's face doth glow over this solidity and compound mass with tristful visage as against doom. This solidity and compound mass. Oh, okay, he's talking about earth. The earth. Heaven's face doth glow over this solidity. I guess he's meaning like the earth. It looks over this earth in compound mass. Calls the earth compound mass. So heaven's face doth glow over this solidity and compound mass with tristful visage. Tristful. What the fuck does tristful mean? See, what does tristful mean? The Middle English word tryst from which tristful is derived means sad. Tristful. Heaven's face doth glow over this solidity and compound mass with tristful visage as against the doom is thought sick at the act. Oh, okay, so that's an interpretation that I disagree with then. If tristful means sad, then translating that to mean angry might be reaching. Gertrude, ay me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index? Now, okay, if Gertrude killed Claudius, from how the play looks, Gertrude doesn't. Neither Ophelia. They don't seem like bright people. They don't seem like very bright people. From what I'm reading of the play, Ophelia and Gertrude don't seem like particularly bright people. They wouldn't be able to anticipate Hamlet's. They can't think two or three phases ahead. They seem pretty innocent. So if it were true that Gertrude did kill Claudius and she's an innocent person, first of all, I don't think she would. But secondly, if she did somehow, I think she'd be racked with guilt. And then if Hamlet or if anybody came at her so strongly like that, she'd probably crumble pretty quick. So the fact that she seemingly honestly asks that question, I me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index? It's like, Jesus, what did I do? Such an act. She's like, fuck, what did... She's like, damn. Seltzer water. It's pretty good. Tristful visage as against the doom is thought sick at the act. Ay me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index? Look here upon this picture and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. Jeez, why is Hamlet so... Was his father really that fucking great? I mean, come on. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. A station like the herald Mercury. So station means body. A station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. New lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. In combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the word assurance of a man. A combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. A combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. Wow. Such a great man that every god seemed to have contributed some feature of this person as to allay any doubts from anybody that this is a man. That's what he's saying. Wow, I would have loved to have met King Hamlet then if he's that great. This was your husband. Look you now, what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting with wholesome brother. Blasting with wholesome brother. Look you now, what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting with wholesome brother. Like a mildewed ear. Oh, so mildewed ear means corn? Yeah, they translate that to corn. Like a piece, like a ear of corn that's infected, like a mildewed infected ear of corn, blasting his wholesome brother. So an infected ear of corn that it is infecting the healthy one next to it. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and fatten on this moor? Have you Have you eyes? Wait, what? He's saying that twice. Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age, the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sense sure you have, else could you not have motion. Sense sure you have, else could you not have motion. But sure that sense is apoplexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserved some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. And what judgment would step from this to this? Yeah, how could you go from King Hamlet to Claudius? If you have eyes, you can clearly see that he's way worse. And you're not infatuated, you're not in love because you're fucking old. Your love is tame, it waits upon the reason. But what reason? By what reason could you possibly look at Claudius and say, yeah, that he's the one? You can't. Sense sure you have, else could you not have motion. But sure that sense is apoplexed, for madness would not err. Even madness wouldn't make that choice. Madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so enthralled. Madness wouldn't make that mistake. Ecstasy wouldn't make that mistake. But it reserves some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What did the devil was't that thus hath cozened you, a hoodman's blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sands all, were but a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope. That's T.S. Eliot. This freaking the Hollow Man. Shape without form. I don't know, what do you say? Light without color. Paralyzed motion, something like that. What devil was that hast thus so cozened you, a hoodman's blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sands all, or but a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope. O shame, where is thy blush, rebellious hell? If thou canst mutine in a matron's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be as wax. If thou canst mutine in a matron's bones, to flaming youth yet virtue be as wax, and melt in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will. Since frost itself as actively doth burn, since O shame, where is thy blush, rebellious hell? If thou canst mutine in a matron's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be as wax, and melt in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will. Oh, Hamlet, speak no more, thou turn'st my eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots, and will not leave the tinct. So, fuck. Oh, Hamlet, speak no more, thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots, and will not leave their tinct. That's curious. So Hamlet was right on the money. She says, Hamlet, speak no more, thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots. So she did do it? Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty. Sweaty stench of your dirty sheets, wet with corruption, making love. Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, enseamed bed. Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet. A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire, and the rule that from a shelf in purses diadem stole and put it in his pocket. Am I high? No, I'm not high right now, right? I can see my mom. It's 9 o'clock at night. I really want to give my mom this drink. She's having trouble sleeping, and so I have this drink that has a lot of potassium in it. And from my experience, potassium really does um, relax you. It makes it easy to sleep. So I'm excited for her to try it. I hope she responds and reacts the same way that I do. So I'm gonna give her that thing, and I hope. I'm nervous because I'm a little stoned, and I don't think it would be nice. That was took a couple minutes. I made it out okay. All right. Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty stuff. Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet. A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket. A lowlife who's not worth a 20th of a tenth of your first husband, the worst of kings, the thief of the throne, who took the precious crown from a shelf and put it in his pocket. A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket. No more, a king of shreds and patches. Now the ghost comes in. Save me and hover o'er me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure? What would your gracious figure? Alas, he's mad. Do you not come your tardy son to chide? That lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command, O say. Do you not come to your tardy son to chide? That lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command, O say. Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, the amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest body's strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest bodies grows strongest. What is conceit? It says the imagination works strongest in those with the weakest bodies. Conceit in one weakest body's strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet. How is it with you, lady? Alas, how's it with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes your spirits widely peep. Forth at your eyes your spirits wildly peep. And as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair like life in excrements, starts up and stands on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience, whereon do you look? Sprinkle cool patience. That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse. Forth at your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair like life in excrements starts up and stands on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience, whereon do you look? On him, look you, how pale he glares. His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones would make them capable. How pale he glares! His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones would make them capable. His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones would make them. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true color, tears perchance for blood. Then what I have to do will want true color. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action, you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true color, tears perchance for blood. What I have to do will want true color, tears perchance for blood. To whom do you speak this? Do you see nothing there? Nothing at all, yet all that is I see. Nor do you nothing here, nor know nothing but ourselves. Why, look you there, look how it steals away my father in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes, even now, out at the portal. This the very coinage of your brain, this bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in. This body creation ecstasy is very cunning in. Ecstasy? My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time, and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reward with madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not the flattering unction of your soul, that not your trespass but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcer's place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects and seen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Forgive me this my virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg, yet curb and woo for leave to do him good. Man, that is, I don't even know what the fuck he's saying, but man, it just sounds so nice, whatever the hell it is. Says he, and he as yours does. There's nothing crazy in what I've just uttered. Put me to the test. I'll rephrase everything I've just said with a lunatic, which a lunatic couldn't do. For the love of God, don't flatter yourself into believing that it's my madness, not your crime, Mr. Sealing the rot that's eating you from the inside. Confess your sins to heaven, repent and avoid damnation. Don't spread manure over the weeds in your heart. It'll only make them more filthy. Forgive me my good intentions here, since in these fat and spoiled times, virtuous people want to say make good. Forgive me my good intentions here, since in these fat and spoiled times, virtuous. My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time, and makes his healthful music. It is not madness that I've uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reward which madness would gamble from. Which madness would gamble from. Madness would gamble from. Is it gamble? It's like to frolic. Like to frolic or something. So I'm not madness. It is not madness that I've uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reward which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass but by badness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcer's place, whilst rank corruption mining all within infects unseen. Not the flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass but by madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcer's place, whilst rank corruption mining all within infects unseen. Whilst ranks corruption mining all within. Let not thy flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass but by badness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcer's place, whilst rank corruption mining all within infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Forgive me, this is my virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times, the fatness, fatness of these times, the fatness of these times, forgive me, this my virtue. For in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg. Yea, curb and woo for leave to do him good. O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain. Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the pure with the one half. Good night, but go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not, that monster custom, who all sense doth eat of habits devil is angel yet in this. But do not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not, that monster custom. Assume a virtue. Assume a virtue. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That monster, custom, who all sense doth eat. That monster, custom, who all sense doth eat. That monster, custom, who all sense doth eat. Of habits, devil is angel yet in this. That to the use of actions fair and good he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly puts it on. Refrain tonight, for that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence. And that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence. Wow. Wow. Those are words to live by. Words to live by. That monster custom, who all sense doth eat of habits, devil is angel yet in this. That to the use of actions fair and good he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly puts it on. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either rein the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night, and when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. Points to Polonius. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. Points to Polonius. For this same Lord I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady. For this same Lord I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this and this with me. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him. I will bestow him. I will bestow him and will answer well the death I gave him. They didn't translate that line. I will bestow him and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. They didn't translate that either. Must be cruel only to be kind. Thus, bad begins and worse remains. One word more, good lady. What shall I do? Not this, by no means, that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reechy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to rabble always mad out. That I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know, for who that's but a queen fair sober wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a gib, such dear concernings hide. Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top. Let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions in the basket creep and break your own neck down. Make you admit that my madness is fake and all calculated. What the fuck is going on? What is Hamlet doing? Not this by no means that I bid you do. Let the blood king tempt you again to his bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reachy kisses, or patting in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out. That I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you'd let him know, for who that's but a queen fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a gib, so such dear concernings hide. Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions in the baskets keep and pick. Unpeg the basket on the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions in the basket creep and break your own neck down. The hell is that? I don't know what it means. Be thou sure, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe. What thou hast said to me. She's like, I have no idea what the fuck you just said. If words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe. What thou hast said to me. I must to England, you know that? Alack, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on. There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adder's fang, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. Let it work, for 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard. And shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds, and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet when in one line two crafts directly meet. There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adder's fang, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. Let it work, for 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard. And shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds. Minds. I will blow below their minds. 400 years ago, did there exist landmines? Then what is Shakespeare meaning when he uses that word? Like a bomb? Did they have bombs? Did they have landmines? I'll delve 1 yard below their minds. Or like a coal mine. And blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet when in one line two crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night. Indeed, this counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother. All right, Act 4. Act 4. Claudius to Gertrude. What is Gertrude feeling here? There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves. You must translate. 'Tis fit we understand them. 'Tis fit we understand them. Where's your son? Bestow this place on us a little while. Ah, my good lord, what have I seen tonight? What, Gertrude, how does Hamlet? Mad as the sea and wind when both contend, which is the mightier. In this lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries a rat, and in his brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man. Oh, heavy deed! It had been so with us, had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us whose providence should have kept short, restrained and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit. Laid to us whose providence should have kept short, restrained and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love. Do we believe that? But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit. Does Claudius actually love Hamlet? But like the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, let it feed even on the path of life. What he hath killed, or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metal's base, show itself pure, he weeps for what is done. To draw apart the body he hath killed, or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metal's base, shows itself pure, he weeps for what is done. To draw apart the body he hath killed, or whom his very madness, to draw apart the body he hath killed, or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metal's base, shows itself pure. O Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence. In this vile deed we must, with all our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. We must, with all our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. O Guildenstern. Friends both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel, I pray you, hasteness. Come, Gertrude, we'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. So dreaded slander, whose whisper o'er the world's diameter, as level as the cannon to his blank, transports the poisoned shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless air. So dreaded slander, whose whisper o'er the world's diameter, as level as the cannon to his blank, transports the poisoned shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless air. Oh gosh. No, it's not important at all. I can't get over how nice that is, that image. Dreaded slander, may it miss our name and hit the woundless air. Gossip, negative gossip, whose whispers over the world's diameter, as level as the cannon to his blank, transports the poison shot. As level as the cannon to his blank. As level as the cannon to his blank. I don't know what the blank means. Transports the poison shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless air. Oh, come away, my soul is full of discord and dismay. Act 4, Scene 2. 9:30. Safely stowed. Gentleman from within. Hamlet, Lord Hamlet. What soft, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come. Into Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. What have you done, my lord, with the dead body? Compounded it with dust whereto 'tis kin. Tell us where 'tis that we may take it thence and bear to the chapel. Do not believe it. Believe what? That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. That I can keep your counsel and not my own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king? That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Do not believe it. Believe what? Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, that I can keep your counsel and not my own. What replication should be made by the son of a king? Take me for a sponge, my lord? Sponge, my lord? Take me for a sponge, my lord? Sponge? Aye, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities, but such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape in the corner of his jaw. Like an ape in the corner of his jaw, first mouth to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you in. Sponge, you shall be dry again. I understand you not, my lord. I am glad of it. Knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear. My lord, you must tell us where the body is, and go with us to the king. The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is the thing. The body is with the king, but the king's not with the body. The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing. A thing, my lord? Of nothing. Bring me to him. Hide, fox, and all after. Fox and all after. The king is a thing. The fuck? Okay, Act 4, Scene 3, Claudius. I have sent to seek him and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? Yet must not we put the strong law on him? Yet must not we put the strong law on him? He's loved of the distracted multitude, who like not in their judgment but their eyes. And where 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offense. Scourge is weighed, but never to the offense. Scourge is weighed, what does that mean? Does not so the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Diseases desperate grown by desperate appliance are relieved, or not at all. No, we must seem calm and fair-minded, and our sending him away must seem like a carefully considered move. But a terminal disease requires extreme treatment or nothing at all. We must seem calm. So, yeah, Claudius kind of knows what's up, too. He's loved of the so, yet must not we put him the strong law on him. He's loved by the distracted multitude, who like not in their judgment but in their eyes, and where 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Diseases desperate grown by desperate appliances are relieved, or not at all. Diseases desperate grown by desperate appliances are relieved, or not at all. How now? What hath befallen? Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him. But where is he? Without, my lord, guarded to know your pleasure. Bring him before us. Ho, Guildenstern, bring in my lord. Now, Hamlet, where is Polonius? At supper. At supper where? Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are even at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table, that's the end. What the fuck are you saying, dude? Hamlet is punning on a famous event in European history, the Diet of Worms, which was a gathering convened by the Holy Roman Emperor in 1521. Huh. Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are even at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table, and that's the end. Alas, alas. A man may fish with the worm that hath eat of a king, and eat of the fish that hath fed on that worm. What dost you mean by this? Nothing but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar. Where is Polonius? Whoa. In heaven, send hither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him any other place yourself. But if indeed you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby. But if indeed you find not within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs. He will stay till you come. He will stay till you come. Hamlet, this deed for thine is special safety, which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready in the wind at help, the associates tend, and everything is bent for England. For England? Aye, Hamlet. Good. So is it, if thou knewest our purposes. If thou knewest our purposes, I see a cherub that sees them, but come for England, farewell, dear mother. I know an angel who can read your mind. I know an angel who can read your mind. Oh. Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed abroad. Delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight away, for everything is sealed and done that else leans on the affair. Pray you, make haste. Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed abroad. Delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight away, for everything is sealed and done that else leans on the affair. Make haste. In England, if my love thou hold'st at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red, after the Danish sword and thy free awe. In England, if my love thou hold'st at aught, With my great power thereof may give thee sense. And my great power thereof may give thee sense. Wow, that's badass. That's awesome. And my great power thereof may give thee sense. Since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy free awe. Cicatrice. 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 The scar of a healed wound.
Cicatrix.
Cicatrix. Cicatrix. In England, if my love thou hold'st at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy free awe pays homage to us. Pays homage to us. Thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process, which imports at full by letters congruing to the effect the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England. For like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me till I know 'tis done, however mayhaps my joys would never begun. Say that shit again. Our sovereign process, which imports at full by letters congruing to that effect the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England. For like the hectic in my blood. For like the hectic in my blood. For like the hectic in my blood. For like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me, till I know 'tis done, however mayhaps my joys will never begun. For like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me, till I know 'tis done, however mayhaps my joys will never begun. Were never be. Act 4, Scene 4. Enter Fortinbras with his army and a captain. Fortinbras. Go, captain. From me, greet the Danish king. Tell him that, by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye and let him know so. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye and let him know so. I will do it, my lord. Go softly on. Go softly. Go softly on. Good sir, whose powers are these? They are of Norway, sir. How purpose, sir, I pray you? Against some part of Poland. Who commands them, sir? The nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras. Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or for some frontier? Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or for some frontier? Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats 5, I would not farm it, nor will it yield to Norway or to Pole a rank or rate should it be sold in fee. Truly to speak and with no addition we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats 5, I would not farm it, nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole a rank or rate should it be sold in fee. Truly to speak and with no addition we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats would not farm it, nor will it yield to Norway or to Pole a rank or rate should. Why? Then the Polak never will defend it. Yes, it is already garrisoned. 2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate the question of the straw. This is the imposthume of much wealth and peace, that inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. That inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir. Imposthume. What does that mean? Imposthume. 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 Archaic word for abscess. Imposthume. Archaic word for abscess. 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 That means abscess. Definition. A swollen area within body tissue containing an accumulation of pus. Wow, that's pretty gross. Imposthume definition. Imposthume, a swelling containing pus, an abscess, an imposthume in his breast. So when Hamlet says, Fortinbras is leading a march against Poland for a piece of dirt, which according to this captain is worthless. Hamlet, after being told this, remarks, "This is the imposthume of much wealth and peace." If imposthume means a abscess, like a zit on the body containing pus, he's saying that this is the zit of wealth and peace, which is an unflattering way of saying this is what happens when you have a lot of peace and nothing to do. You end up just running off a cliff and killing yourself for no reason. That inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. This quarrel is like an abscess that goes inside someone's orifice. This is the apostate much wealth and peace, that inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man. It shows no cause without. Without is another way of saying outside of something. Without my house. This is the imposthume of much wealth and peace, that inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir. God be with you, sir. With you, Rosencrantz. Will it please you go, my lord? I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man in his chief good in market of his time, but to sleep and feed, a beast no more? Sure, he that made us with such large discourse looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to thrust in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion, or some craven scruple, thinking too precisely on the event, A thought which quartered but one part wisdom and even 3 parts coward. I do not know why yet I live to say this things to do. Sith I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and ensure to all that fortune, death, and to danger dare even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor is at the stake. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason in my blood, and let all sleep? While, to my shame, I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot wherein the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing less. Yeah, I think the weed is kicking in. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dawn revenge. Kind of dry up like a prune. Whether it's animal-like mindlessness, seven soliloquies. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time? If his chief good and market of his time. Chief good and market. What is a man if his chief good and market? If his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed, a beast no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fast in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which quartered hath but one part wisdom and even 3 parts coward, I do not know why yet I live to say this things to do. Sith I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event. Whose spirit and divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal. Warning shot. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and sure to all that fortune, death, and danger, daring affliction. Invisible event. What a state. How stand I then? While to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to the graves like beds, fight for a plot wherein the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing warrant. Oh, almost at the 2-hour mark, huh? Oh, that feels good. It's almost 10 o'clock. Okay. Act 4, Scene 5. Yes, we'll try to get to Act 5 and then continue tomorrow. Finish up Hamlet. Gertrude, I will not speak with her. Gentlemen, she is importunate, indeed distract. Her mood will needs be pitied. What would she have? She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They aim at it, and botch the words of fit to their own thoughts, which, as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure, yet much unhappily. Every time you laugh, says she here. She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They aim at it, and botch the words that fit to their own thoughts, which as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought. Which as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would not make one think there might be thought. Though nothing sure, yet much unhappily. 'Twere good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds. 'Twere good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds. Dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds. Let her come in. To my sick soul. Each toy seems prologue to some. Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark? How should I your true love know for another one but his cockle hat and staff and his sandal shoe? How can you tell the difference between your true lover and some other, and your true one wears a pilgrim's hat and a pilgrim's sandals and staff? Say you? Nay, pray you, mark. He is dead and gone, lady, he is dead and gone. At his head in grass green turf, at his heels a stone. White his shroud as the mountain snow. His death shroud was as white as snow. His death shroud was as white as snow. Alas, look here, my lord. Larded all with sweet flowers, which bewept to the ground, did not go with true love's showers. Covered with sweet flowers, which did not fall to the ground. Is she talking about King Hannah? Oh. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table. They say the baker's daughter was turned into an owl for refusing Jesus' bread. Well, God, oh dear, they say the owl was a baker's daughter. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we... They say the owl was a baker's daughter, Lord. They say the baker's daughter was turned into an owl for refusing. But know not what we may be at your table. Concede upon her father. Pray you, let's have no words of this, but when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning betime, all in the morning betime, and I am made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes and up the chamber door, let in the maid that out a maid never departed more. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning betime, and I am made at your window to be your Valentine. All in the morning betime, and I am made in your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes and dumped the chamber door, duped the chamber door, and let in the maid. Righteous and by Saint Charity, alack and faith for shame. Young men will do it if they come to it, by cock they ought to blame. Limericks. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. He answers, so would I done by yonder sun, and thou hadst not come to my bed. Jesus, Saint Charity. Do 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 do. How long hath she been thus? I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose but weep to think they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it, and so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach, Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night, good night. I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose but weep to think they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it, and so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night, good night. Exit Ophelia. Violent author of his own just removed. The people muddied thick in unwholesome the oxens. Yeah. And once not buzzes to poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment, without the which we are pictured were mere beasts. Last, and as much not containing of all these, her brother is in secret come from France, feeds on his wonder, keeps himself in clouds, and wants not buzzes to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death, or in necessity of manner beggared, will nothing stick our person to rein in ear and ear. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this, like to a murdering peace, in many places gives me superfluous death. Alack, what noise is this? Where are my Switzers? Let them guard the door. What is the matter? Save yourself, my lord. The ocean, overpeering of his list, eats not the flats with more impetuous haste than young Laertes in a righteous head o'erbears your officers. The rabble call him lord, and as the world were now but to begin, antiquity forgot, custom not known, the ratifies and props of every word, they cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applauded to the clouds, Laertes shall be king, Laertes the king. The ocean, overpeering of his list, eats not the flats with more impetuous haste than young Laertes in a righteous head o'erbears your officers. The young Laertes like the ocean when it floods the shore and devours the lowlands. The young Laertes like the ocean when it floods in the shore and devours the lowlands is leading a rebellion against your government. The ocean, overpeering of his list, eats not the flats with more impetuous haste than young Laertes in righteous head. Yeah, they translated that totally incorrectly. Save yourself, my lord. The ocean, overpeering of his list, eats not the flats with more impetuous haste than young Laertes in his riotous head o'erbears your officers. The rabble call him lord, and as the world were now but to begin, antiquity forgot, custom not known, the ratifiers and props of every word they cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applauded to the clouds, Laertes shall be king, Laertes king. How cheerfully on the false trail they cry, oh, this is counter, you false Danish dogs. Danish dogs. How cheerfully on the false trail they cry, oh, this is counter, you false Danish dogs. The doors are broke. You say, enter, Laertes. Where is the king? Sirs, stand you all without. Stand you all without. No, let's come in, I pray you, give me leave. We will. I thank you. Keep the door. O thou vile king, give me my father. Calmly, good Laertes, that drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard. Cries cuckold to my father and brands the harlot even here between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother. Cries cuckold to my father and brands the harlot even here between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother. Wow, that's incredible. It says, calm down, Laertes. That drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard. Cries cuckold to my father, brands the harlot even here between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother. What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. There such divinity doth hedge a king, that treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why thou art thus incensed? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man. God protects the king so traitors can't hurt them. You're going to betray me, huh? What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. There's such divinity doth hedge a king, that treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Such divinity doth hedge a king. Do not fear our person. There is such divinity doth hedge a king, that treason can but peep to what it would. That treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why thou art thus incensed? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man. Why, where is my father? Dead. But not by him. Let him demand his fill. Let him demand his fill. How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, conscience and grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. To this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligence, let come what come, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father. Who shall stay you? Who shall stay you? My will, not all the world. And for my means I'll husband them so well they shall go far with little. I will, not all the world, and for my means I'll husband them so well they shall go far with little. Not all the world, for my means, my will, for my means I'll husband them far with little. Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father's death, it's writ in your revenge that sweepstake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser. Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your father's death, isn't it in your revenge that swoopstake you will draw both friend and foe? You will draw both friend and foe when the enemies are what? Swoopstake. Oh my god, Shakespeare's just like making up shit. Swoopstake. Swoopstake. Sounds like a restaurant in a laundromat. Swoopstake. Like first and only use in Hamlet, Act 4, Scene 2. In an indiscriminate manner. Hamlet. 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 Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your father's death, is written your revenge that swoopstake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser? None but his enemies. Will you know them then? Will you know them then? To his good friends thus wide I'll ope my arms, and like the kind life-rendering pelican, repass them with my blood. Life-rendering pelican. Pelican. No, pelican. That word always. I like that word. It's used in King Lear. When King Lear looks at, I think was it Kent, locked in the stocks? Whatever. Nay, nothing could have. Nothing could have caused this as pelican daughters. Pelican daughters. Pass that. Why now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman, that I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensible in grief for it. It shall as level to your judgment pierce, as day does to your eye. Let her come in. How now? What noise is that? Oh, heat, dry up my brains. Tears, 7 times salt, burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. Tears, 7 times salt, burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid by weight till our scale turn the beam. O rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia, O heaven, is't possible a young maid's wits should be as mortal as an old man's life? Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine, it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves. Yeah, what the fuck does Laertes mean by that last part? It should be as mortal as an old man's life. Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine, it sends some precious instance of itself. Oh, nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine, it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves. Oh, I see, I see. Sanity. Sanity. I love that thing so much that when it died, I gave it my sanity. Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine, it sends most precious instance of itself after the thing it loves. Ophelia sings. They bore him barefaced on the bier. Hey, nonny, nonny, hey, nonny. And in his grave rained many a tear. Fare you well, my dove. Hadst thou thy wits that didst persuade revenge, that could not win thus. Hadst thou thy wits that didst persuade revenge, that could not win thus. Laertes, I must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. Go but apart, make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we can ours to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content. Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy, sword, nor hatchment o'er his bones, nor noble rite, nor formal ostentation. Cry to be heard as 'twere from heaven to earth that I must call. 4, Scene 6. Enter Horatio and a servant. What are they that would speak with me? Seafaring men, sir. They say they have letters for you. Let them come in. I do not know from what part of the world I should be greeted, if not from Lord Hamlet. To say this. God bless you, sir. Let him bless thee too. God bless you, sir. Let him bless thee too. He shall, sir, and please him. There's a letter for you, sir. It comes from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I'm let to know it is. Horatio, when thou shalt have o'erlooked this, give these fellows some means to the king. They have letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became the prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear will make thee dumb, yet are they much too light for the bore of the matter. These good fellows will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. For them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. He that thou know'st thine. He that thou. Take the ship, boy. Now must your conscience my acquaintance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend. Sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life. It well appears, but tell me why you proceeded not against these feats, so criminal and so capital in nature, as by your safety, wisdom, all things else you mainly were stirred up. Oh, for two special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, but yet to me they are strong. The queen his mother lives almost by his looks, and for myself my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she's so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other motive why to a public count I might not go, is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affection, would like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert his gibes to graces, so that my arrows too slightly timbered for so loud a wind would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I had aimed them. Wow. It's a great one. The queen his mother lives almost by his looks, and for myself she's so and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she's so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but her. The other motive why to a public count I might not go. My ass is hurting. You surely shall hear more. And so have I a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the age for her perfection. But my revenge will come. Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourselves, and that I hope will teach you to imagine. How now? What news? Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. This to your majesty, this to the queen. From Hamlet? Who brought them? Sailors, my lord, they said. I saw them not. They were given me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them. Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. high and mighty. You shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow I shall beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Now the rest come back, or is it some abuse and such things? Occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Know you the hand? 'Tis Hamlet's character, naked, and in a postscript here he says, alone. Can you advise me? I am lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thou didst thou. Warms the very sickness of my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou. If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me? Ay, my lord, so you will not overrule me to a peace. To thine own peace. If he but now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit how ripe in my devise, under the which he shall not choose but fall. And for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, and even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident. Thou plans to continue on this trip. If he be now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit now ripe in my devise, under the which he shall not choose but fall. And for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, and even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call an accident. I will be ruled the rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ. The organ. It falls right. You have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and that in my regard of the unworthiest seed. You have been talked, you have been talked of since your travel much for quality when they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and that in my regard of the unworthiest each. What part is that, my lord? A very ribbon in the camp of youth, yet needful too, for youth no less becomes the light and careless livery that it wears than settled age's sables and his weeds and voted health and braveness. 2 months since 2 months since here was a gentleman of Normandy. I've seen it myself and served against the French, and they can well on horseback. But this gallant had witchcraft in't. He grew into his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse, as he had been corpsed, and demi-natured with the brave beast. So far he topped my thought that I, in forgery of shapes and tricks, come short of what he did. Made confession of you and gave you such a mastery of the fort for art and exercise in your defense. And for your rapier most especially that he cried out 'twould be a sight indeed, if I could match you. The scrimmers of the nation he swore, and had neither motion, guard nor eye, because him, sir. This report of his did Hamlet so envenom with his envy that he could nothing but do but wish and beg your son come out. Give you such a master report for art and exercise in defense. Scribers of the nations. What out with this, Lord? What out with this, Lord? There it is was your father doing to me. Wow. Now that I think, you did not love your father, but that I know love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of love a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it, and nothing is at a like goodness still. For goodness, growing to a plusary, dies in his own too much. That we would do, we should do when we would. For this would changes and hath abatements and delays as many as there are tongues, our hands, our accidents. And then this should is like a spendthrift sigh that hurts by easing. But to the quick of the old son, Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself indeed your father's son, more than in words, to cut his throat in the church? No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But, good Laertes, will you do this, keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned shall know you are come home. Will put on those shall praise your excellence, instead of double varnish on the fame with which we gave you. Alright, I think I'm done for today. Can't fuck forever. Right? Okay, 2.5 hours. I got a like. All right.